guys, today what we're going to be talking about are some of the worser variations that you can find in Disney pins. We expect every pin to be perfect, however, life isn't perfect and neither are pins. When pins have something wrong with them, we say they have a quality control issue, and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call quality control QC. Now, what is QC? The dictionary describes QC as a system of maintaining standards in manufactured products by testing a sample of the output against the specification. What the specification will be is the original design of the pin and also the manufacturing standards that Disney has set out. For example, to have good waffling, good stamping, good paint colour, no paint overrun, no dips and no sharp edges. However, some pins will make it through QC with these issues. As you can see, this is a piece of Disney movie pin, and as you can see, it's Michael flying out of the window. However, this pin has some QC issues, unfortunately. Although the front looks very good, it is very glossy, the paint is very perfect, it has no dips, it doesn't scratch off easily, and the edges are very, very good. There are some issues on the back of the pin. We would normally expect to find that the waffling, which is the Mickey pattern on the back, to go the whole way around and to meet all of the edges of the pin. As you can see on this pin, the waffling does not meet the top of the pin. Usually this can be an indicator of a fake or a scrapper, but in this case it is just an example of poor quality control at Disney's end, and we're going to talk a bit more about some of the other issues you might find. This pin is an open edition Remy pin. It has a mirrored outline, and as you can see it has some scratching on the front, but this is not unusual for some of these pins. However, this back has a very, very good example of just what bordering can look like in a good pin. As you can see, the Mickey head waffling reaches the top and the right hand side, but on the left hand side and the bottom of the pin, the waffling does not go the whole way around and it is slightly wonky. I'm going to show you a close-up of the Peter Pan pin just so you can get an idea of what bordering looks like. Bordering can be very, very minor. Sometimes you might not even notice it, but there are occasions when it is extremely obvious. And although we say that bordering can indicate a fake or a scrapper pin, you have to take into account where you got the pin from and all the other aspects of the pin to make sure it is a good pin. Every other part of this pin is as it should be. It has the stamping, the posts, and the rivets and nubs. Bordering issues are not limited to one type of waffling. It seems to be a QC problem across the whole of the Disney range at the moment. As you can see from this sorcerer hat, there is an awful border on the left hand side of this pin. And this is unfortunately not uncommon. And as I said previously, although this can be the best indicator on if it's a fake or a scrapper pin, you have to take every other part of the pin into account when assessing its authenticity. The three most common types of waffling that you will find on pins at the moment are the Mickey heads, the sorcerer hat, and then this ice cream pattern. But as you can see, this pattern, which is exclusive to the Soda Fountain Studio store in Hollywood, also has the issues of bordering. As you can see, none of the ice creams meet any of the edges on this car. This Alice pin is a good indication of some of the paint issues you might be able to find on a pin. As you can see in Cheshire's leg, there is a rather large dip in the paint, and it is pitted, it is matte as opposed to glossy, and there is overrun on his thigh and on his ankle. There is also some chunks of the enamel missing from the stripes on his arm and his body. Again, these are issues that you would tend to find on a fake. The other issue this pin has is that the stamping of the actual waffling is very, very light. You'd expect to find that the Mickeys are easily identifiable, which they aren't on this pin. The The other problem you might encounter is light stamping of the pin trading logo or of the copyright Disney logo. If I hadn't bought this direct from the store myself, I would probably have said that this was a fake or a scrapper pin due to the paint issues. In the last few years, we've seen Disney develop a new manufacturing method with resin, using the resin to form windows. However, on some of the pins, it would appear that the resin has leaked through the mould and it has stuck to the back of the pin. As you can see here on the waffling, there is the blue resin, and this is actually covering the whole of the back of the pin very, very thinly. I've tried to point out the bits where it's most obvious. This pin also has a border the whole way around it, which is highly unusual as it's a very thick border. Another unusual problem that I found on a few of the pins that I have in my current collection is where the post has been riveted to the actual pin. It seems to have damaged the back of the pin. It's not very obvious here, but I've tried to highlight it as best as I can. I hope this video helps you understand some of the QC issues you might encounter in Disney pin trading. Happy pin trading!